Welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is where we have motivational, inspiring conversations and interviews that we hope you'll enjoy listening to.
Join us and other inspired actioneers on this alchemical, transformational journey.
Welcome back to the Inspired Action Podcast. My name is Jay, and this is podcast number 108, which is a good number for all you people who like to study numerology. We got a lot going on today. Electrifying, surprising, and as always, I have our fearless leader Herman. Leader.
Leader.
There we go. Lita, tell everyone why it's going to be electrifying today, because I'm like so excited.
Well, we've got this surprise for you because today we said we were going to talk about the third elements, but we're interrupting that regularly scheduled program today. And this, with some breaking news. So we're going to be doing this podcast all about music. And actually our next 5 are also going to be about that. We're really excited, and there's a reason for that. We're going to explain that to you. So
got a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
Great things on the horizon. And so we're going to crash through our regular. We'll catch up with that again later. So sit tight. We hope you enjoy this because music is such a part of the 5 elements and alchemy and all the things that we do. It really is weaved into our lives and probably everyone who's listening to these podcast live. So this is really exciting for us. So I'm going to let Lita go on with the energy of music, kind of like the sound of music.
The sound of music, yes.
The energy of music.
Are you going to sing it?
No, I'm going to not start with that yet. Oh my gosh. That is not what this podcast is about. Trust me.
Well, this all came about because we've been invited to speak at an extraordinary event called the Park City Summit in Utah. And it's not your ordinary conference. It's a unique gathering of music enthusiasts featuring incredible people like Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC fame, and Chuck D, the voice behind Public Enemy, as well as some cool upcoming new artists like Joy Aladakun and Devin Gilfillian, and many more.
I remember when we met Devin at an event for Lake Street Dive, and he was very magical, and he just really has this presence on stage that is just, if you get a chance to hear him live or see him live, it is so worth it. He's really going to, I hope, burst onto the scene. He already is, but it's if he could really get like more attention, he's just magical.
Just wonderful. So we're back to our irregularly scheduled program here. So the event we're going to do, it's not just about the musicians. It's a multi-day music and wellness extravaganza.
We're the wellness pot, not the music pot.
Right. Yeah. In case you haven't figured that out from all our singing, we are not the featured singers.
No. I would feel really bad for them if that's what they were counting on. No, we're going to talk about wellness and spirituality and alchemy and all the great things that we love to talk about and how it really relates to musicians.
And most importantly, the healing power of music. We're talking, there's going to be a lot of intimate conversations and mind-blowing performances. And it's a chance to immerse yourself in the magic of Park City, Utah.
Yeah. And it is open to anyone who wants to go, and they are selling tickets. I know they're selling quite a few tickets because I checked in on them, and they're like, things are going great. So, but you can still get tickets, and you can we'll have a link somewhere in the show notes too as well.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, Park City, Utah.
And, we're excited about it so much that we thought, let's incorporate the podcast into this event. So we're going to give you, the listeners, a sneak peek into what we're going to be talking about at the summit.
And Lita, I don't know if you can tell, but listeners out there, but Lita, music holds a special note in your heart, doesn't it? Right? Let's talk about that note.
Yes, music runs through my veins. My family has always been deeply connected to music. We're 4 generations now of passionate dancers, with my grandparents even finding love on the dance floor. So as a youth, I dabbled in music myself. I played drums and lead saxophone in a jazz band during my school days. But my musical journey took a magical turn when I ventured into this healing field with my alchemy work. I've got a whole new way now to express my love and connection with music, which I nicknamed the Divine DJ, which I play daily in our healing clinic. it's kind of like my instrument at this point. So music is an integral part of my healing sessions where we vibrationally tap into the power of the divine DJ for profound healing experiences.
And everyone has their own divine DJ, correct?
Yes.
That's just amazing. And I love that story. And if we had more time, we could go deeper into that story of your personal music connection. But I think that just touches on a few things. And I think, again, with the touching, we're like touching. Music has the power to touch our souls and transform our lives in a positive way.
Yeah.
Don't go down that slippery slope.
Sorry, fire mind.
I know. So today, let's talk about music, the 5 elements of music, how it works, how it's connected. And so, I think that if you can explain, Leta, how we don't just randomly listen to music. It kind of has a deeper meaning. We don't even, it's maybe subconscious or conscious, but when you're getting into certain songs, they have elemental layers to them, just like we do. So I would love it if you could kind of talk a little bit about that to someone. I'm just taking the assumption that people, 5 elements, understand our concepts because they're listening to this podcast. And it's not 108, so by now they might have some interest in the 5 elements.
And that's a good point. If you're new to the podcast, go back and listen to some of the earlier
Go back
podcasts.
107 of them and then come back to 108.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, there's some early podcast episodes that are about the elements. So go back and learn a little bit about the elements. Come back to us.
And while you're doing that, we will talk about what's going on in the Learning Center.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have a lot of stuff that's going on. Let's take a little diversion.
Yes. That's a good idea.
Let's do that now while they're listening to all of them. But we'll put a note again. My first note was parkcitySongSummit.com. So we will put a note in the show notes for that. Anyone can come. We're super excited. We already mentioned it.
Yes.
We'll probably mention it 100 more times.
And this fall, we're going to be starting our new Master Alchemy apprenticeship program. And August is a great time to start thinking about signing up for that because there's some prerequisites to that program.
Yeah, we have quite a few people already, but there are some openings for sure.
Yep.
And anyone, Leta, tell a little bit about who would want to be a Master Alchemy or in that program.
Right. So this program is designed for basically people who want to self-cultivate. And traditionally, we've done that a lot with acupuncturists and healers and people in the medical field. But this year, we're really emphasizing self-cultivation. So we want to open that up to anyone who's really interested in self-cultivation. And you have to be ready for that. So we have an application process and you'll get to talk with me and we'll see if it's a good fit. And it's an amazing program. So it's a year-long program.
Actually, it's 1 to 3 years.
Yeah.
It's not just
That's
one and done.
This is just the first year, but over a year, people transform so much. It's pretty magical in terms of how much people transform.
And the self-cultivation aspects of this work is just so much. The benefits are just so, I can't even tell you how many benefits of doing this alchemical Chinese medicine, the whole thing. But we're going to start with this looking at yourself and where are you? So I always say, you want to walk the walk, talk the talk. This is how you start.
And so if you're an acupuncturist, we are going to cover protocols and points. We have a lot of online classes that are included with that as well.
But it's not just protocol and points.
Just protocols and points.
Hey, I just said that.
Yeah, because things like the ghost points, they're regularly available on the internet. You can look them up, but that's not what it's about because you can stick a needle in a ghost point and nothing's going to happen. So you have to cultivate that. And
it might hurt a little if you just stick it in there.
Right.
But nothing magical of the ghost points is going to happen.
Exactly. So it's deeply introspective work. And the coolest thing is to watch how you transform and all those in your cohort transform throughout the year.
Sure. And like we just said, it's a 1 to 3 year program.
Yes.
As you progress, depending on what your healing practice is or whatever road this takes you down. So each year has a different theme and you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And the first year is about having ease in your life and getting rid of the baggage of this lifetime.
Yes, and we're just starting a new year 2 group, and they're going to be working on their hearts. So they're going to free their heart from heart pains, and they're really going to dive deeper into whatever's holding them back, even from previous lifetimes or from their ancestors.
Yeah, and we've been working with this group a lot, and it just makes me so emotional and happy to think about the journey that we've all been through together. Yeah. And it's just an amazing experience. So that's going on. So if that kind of strikes an interest, go check it out on the website. What is the website, Leta?
alchemylearningcenter.com.
.com.
I sang it this time.
So right now we're taking some applications. We have a few. If you haven't heard back from us, we're going through the process, and that will be starting hopefully in August. I'm sorry, applications in August, start in September, October.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also we have a retreat coming up, which you can
Yes.
also see on our website. And we have some other events. We have a webinar. We have all kinds of stuff. So just go to our
Actually,
website.
can I say something about the webinar? I'm super
You
excited
may
about.
say something about
Yes.
it.
So in October, we're going to have a webinar about some Chinese medicine practices that actually I think everyone really needs to know. And they're very simple things that you can do on yourself or do with others if you're a practitioner. And it's going to be about releasing chaotic energy and clearing energy blocks and something called left-right imbalances.
Do we have those dates yet, or we'll post them when we have them?
Yes, we have them. It's on the website.
Okay, and if you're on our mailing list,
alchemylearningcenter.com.
we're going to be doing a mailing on this too. So, because we already have a lot of people asking that we've told in person. So, we'll keep you. So, again, if you're interested, go to the website or keep an eye out in your email box. Is that a thing now, an email box? Your box?
Yeah,
your
right.
mailbox?
I don't know. Your
I don't know.
inbox.
Your
I think
inbox.
it's called your inbox.
We'll be in your inbox soon. All right,
Okay.
so I think we're really excited about that. All you TCM nerds out there. Yay! You're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, great. So, all right, I think we're now can go back to our already interrupted regular scheduling program for the musical,
Right.
electrifying,
The spontaneously unplanned episode.
which I had no word for. So, there we go. So, all right, we're going back to music.
Yes. So our first theme of the music that we're going to be talking about at the summit is, how do you unleash this inner DJ, divine DJ? And basically it's about the healing power of music through alchemy. And so
I mean, that's so much to unpack right there. I think we're going to have to explain. Let's slow it down, slow your roll. Go, first of all, what is the meaning of the divine DJ?
okay. So,
By the way, it's a very cool name.
yes. So it's a nickname for how we use music in alchemical treatments. When we do alchemical treatments, we use a ginormous playlist that contains over 25,000 songs of all genres. Everything from the Grateful Dead to Run DMC to Joy Aladakun, a lot of the people that are at the
There's
summit.
lectures on there, and there's Abraham's on there. There's crazy things that you've never even heard
Eckhart
of.
Tolle is on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I think they've heard of Eckhart. But I mean, like crazy.
Yeah, and very obscure
bleep
things.
comes up.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of treatments, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah. And no censoring.
No censoring.
Because if we'd never know. I mean, anything goes. And so it's great that we have like a few motivational, spiritual speakers. We have some poetry. Yeah. And we go from anything from classical to opera to punk rock, whatever.
Even holiday Christmas music?
Yes. Even holiday Christmas music.
Yeah, well, okay. So tell us how that works. Not the Christmas music, but a session. Because, as much as I love rap and punk rock, not really. But I'm no judgment, okay? I'm no judgment. But I do recognize that it could have a healing power, a sense of, connection for someone. Not me, but maybe.
Absolutely.
Who knows, right?
I mean, you'd be surprised how many people like rap is their music, and when it comes on, they are really connected to the
I would
divine
imagine with the
DJ.
wood and the beat. So like dun,
absolutely.
dun,
Wood
dun.
people,
Yeah.
especially water people. But anyway, if you're doing a separate kind of treatment that's really relaxing, we have playlists that have relaxing music on it. You might think this doesn't sound like very like normal massage music kind of thing. It's, we have those peaceful playlists, but with the treatments that are alchemy, that are getting rid of the baggage of this lifetime, well, often that baggage is not very pretty, and it might need to relate to something that's a little bit edgy, a little bit forceful.
And the
a little bit-
vibrations move it
Yes.
or unlock it. And
Yes.
yes, I've been a fly on the wall in many of Leta's sessions, especially her Ghost Point sessions, which, if you don't know, they're all-day treatments. And she basically walks the person through a 13-point protocol. We should do a whole thing. Have we done a podcast on the Ghost Points?
Yes, we have a long time ago.
So, it's been a long time. So you can just kind of like, you're just amazed at the music that comes. And so it's to help a person work through the past traumas and stuckness. Is that a word? Stuckness in their lives?
Yes.
Stuckiness. Oh, I know why there. The stuckiness and the yuckiness. No
but
judgment,
definitely
though.
the yuckiness.
And so they might be on that table for a long time, but it just goes by in a blink. And I think the Divine DJ certainly helps. And it makes everything just come alive. energetically, elementally, vibrationally. It's just magic.
And I'm usually talking with the person about their lives during the treatment. And in the background is this random music, shuffling. And it's only with the divine DJ miraculously spinning those tunes, you'd be shocked how many song lyrics that are playing are actually saying exactly what the client is saying at the exact
I know.
same
It
time.
sounds impossible, but it happens all the time. I have seen it and heard it with my own eyes and ears. It is cray, but amazing.
It happens daily, Jay. I mean, every day the divine DJ surprises us. But we got the idea of using the divine DJ from the way alchemy was done in ancient times. Often Taoist monks would attend sort of healing sessions or ritual sessions, and they'd be playing all these, different instruments to create kind of a mood. But the music was like improvisational and really went with whatever was happening in the event. They would be chanting and singing and, clanging on cymbals and playing different wind and
Wooden
string
blocks,
instruments.
and we've seen it while we were in
Yeah.
China at a temple. It was quite amazing.
And so the music would range from super sweet and beautiful to a cacophony of percussion and a frenzy of disharmony. So the entire event really relied not only on acupoints that the healer was using, but on the vibrations of the music, moving the treatment along and generating the emotions in the patient. So in modern times, to simulate this kind of healing work, we use modern music, something that our clients can connect with. And, actually 20 years ago, we didn't have playlists and iPods. So we had to use like those old gizmos. What were they called?
Cassette tapes, 8-track tapes. What kind of tape? I don't know.
I actually had an 8-track tape when I was a kid.
You're old. You're dating yourself. Some people are like, what is that?
So
I don't even know if you can find those on eBay anymore.
I know.
I don't even know if eBay's in anymore. Like now it's like eBay is like, oh, you're a dinosaur.
I know.
Right? You just go to Facebook Live or whatever, market, and I don't know. It's just like, I don't know, just shout out to the world what you want. And then all of a sudden you just bing, someone's selling it to you.
Well, back when I started this work 20 years ago, people were using CDs, so we were a little more advanced. But then the iPod came out. And remember that, Jay, when the iPod came out?
I think I got every single version of the iPod. I looked it up. They don't make them anymore, by the way.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad,
I
nostalgic.
know.
But, to have, remember the first time to have all your music in one place? Oh, magical. Memories of all the money that Apple took from me. Oh, my God, the investments of all those songs. We still have them, but, wow. Who thought that would catch on?
And
Everyone.
And the ability to shuffle is really
Yes.
what
I even
changed
had
my
the shuffle.
life.
Remember the little tiny one, the shuffle? I had that one.
So the divine DJ was born when the shuffle came along. It's some algorithm that Apple created, and I'm sure some other companies had their own algorithms, but that was a crazy concept. Before iPods, you had to spend hours and hours creating mixtapes and then give that one precious version of your mixtape to your best friend or your lover. I mean, it was the ultimate sign of love. Remember, Jay? It really was.
Yeah, and but I think that was like your personal stuff that you then share with someone. This is even more random.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going to come out of the divine DJ.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool. And I don't know, it's kind of like a divine jukebox shuffler player. I don't know. It's kind of cool. But anyways.
Well, I actually, before the iPod, I had to use those CD changers.
Oh, yeah,
I had a
yeah,
giant
yeah.
60, it was huge. It was 60 CD changer. That was the first time I did a shuffle for a treatment.
That was like a shuffle with a walker, right?
Right. But it was a game changer because the healing work, what would happen is it meant I could turn on the music and all of those different genres could be accessed randomly. And that's really how the Divine DJ was born. Because once I started playing those larger playlists I compiled randomly, the more mind-blowing the choices of music that the algorithm played were. And I can tell you so many incredible stories about what music comes up when I'm in the clinic doing that.
Well, maybe you could give us a quick few examples right here, since many people have never even heard of a ghost point treatment, Divine DJ, vibrational healing, whatever we're talking about here today. So give us a couple of what's really surprised you in the clinic.
Well, a really mind-blowing example was a woman, and this is a little bit of a sad story. She had lost her baby shortly after birth. And at the time, she was trying to decide whether to try again, have another baby. And she already had one kid. And she just couldn't decide whether she should try again and maybe just have one
Oh,
child.
I remember this story. This is really, really inspiring.
So at some point when we were talking about her conundrum, a children's song came on, and I have very few children's songs. Or at that time, I think I had one CD that was loaded in. But the lyrics of the song were incredible. The song said, "Mommy and Daddy and baby make three. Three is a magic number." And when she heard that, well, both our jaws literally dropped, and we kind of gasped and sputtered. And she said, "What does that mean? Does that mean I shouldn't try again? I should be happy with my one child?" And I said, "Well, I really don't know what it means. Let's think about it." So that was towards the end of her treatment. She came back the next day for what we call the follow-up session, which is just a shorter session. And on that day, we were in a completely different treatment room with a completely different iPod, but the same giant music list of about, I think, 15,000 songs back then. I pressed shuffle on that iPod, and amazingly, magically, the very same song came on again. I mean, it's like impossible, right? It's like, how can the algorithm pick that song again? And it happened, and she got the message. And you know what? She didn't try having another baby, which later she was quite relieved for many reasons, which we won't get into here. So that's an example of the divine DJ.
Yeah, that's really quite amazing and really cool and just mind blown, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the divine DJ kind of spinning those tunes for people and vibrationally getting messages or healing or whatever you want to associate with that.
It's not only that the energetic qualities of the music are very healing, which we're going to talk about next. That's really what this podcast episode is about. But the validation of some magically universal force trying to provide support for the patient, well, that's just incredible.
I know. And I know you've been jokingly accused of preloading that music for people. I've been there when they've said, did you do that?
Yes, all the time. But how would I know what they were going to say? It's impossible to preload that. I had no idea that they'd be talking. One treatment, the very first song was all about mother, 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 mother. And the person had not really talked about her mother prior to that treatment. And I said, "Well, what about your mother?" And she said, "Mother? I have 3 horrible mothers." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. So the whole treatment ended up being about mothers. And maybe if that song hadn't come on, we wouldn't have gotten into that. Like, it wasn't sort of on her mind. But then once that happened, the whole treatment took off.
Leta, as you were speaking, I was just trying to think here, how could someone utilize this, what we're talking about today, who's already listening to the podcast and doing some meditations, maybe alchemical meditations, maybe not, or just working on their self-cultivation? Could you give them a little tip on that?
Well, it's kind of like the fad of oracle cards right now. Like if you are into the I Ching or some kind of
I'm pretty sure the I Ching is not a fad. Right, been around a long time.
That's true. But oracle cards are really, really big right now. So think of it.
That new thing, the I Ching.
New thing. Think of it like, that's really funny. Think of it like, a deeper conversation with your own oracle. Think of it like you can begin a shuffle. You have to shuffle large amounts of music and really try to find a way to shuffle things that aren't your normal.
Now we have Spotify, iPod, Apple Music.
You can do it
Amazon,
so many
all
ways.
this stuff music. That's right. And so I think that if you just be open to what comes out there and pick a big shuffle.
And you can even do
I'm not even sure they call it a shuffle. They call it, random. Yeah. That double swirly thing they have for the logo just means shuffle. I don't know.
And you can actually do it very similar to if you're using oracle cards. Ask a question and then hit shuffle.
Sure.
And
you
can
also use it with 5 elements, 9 palaces, love songs, heartbreak songs. And the oracle is your wood. So if you're working on your wood a little bit by tapping into the oracle.
Yeah, but what if every song is about heartbreak?
Guess what? Fire.
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 It means that you might be fire or you might be having a relationship.
What about the songs about home and longing and belonging and, that would be maybe more earth.
Yeah. Or if you get a lot of introspective, solemn music, that's more metal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you go back to the wood, maybe winning or goals or the best, or that would be your wood.
Yeah, like real dum-da-dum music, think Indiana Jones.
Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, Eye of the Tiger. Yeah. So we're going to talk about all of this in the podcast. And then there's water. The quirky songs that are deep at the same time. They might be about wisdom or they might be very mundane.
Yeah, I really think that we can go on and on about what you get. So you have to be aware. You could also write things down. You can save your playlist now. There's just it's just endless. And so this is the magic of the vibrational energetics of the music.
Yeah, and we like to really engage it more through your heart. And we often ask our apprentices to choose a heart song or a heart album. So all of you, for homework,
Yes.
you could choose.
If you choose to accept
If you
this.
choose to accept it, what's the album or even just a particular song that you want to listen to over and over and over? The song or the album that's singing the song of your heart.
Yes, we do this with our apprentices, and it's almost always the favorite week that we do of this music. It's just kind of like taking away blinders, and then you have a whole new relationship and experience with music. Even if you were really into music, it just takes it to another level.
Right. And today we're going to be also talking about the vibrational energetics of the music, not just the lyrics, but what's the music doing? So this is very important to healing work, and it's really the core of this concept of the divine DJ, because it's not just spinning the tunes for the lyrics. It's also the healing sound of the music, because that's where the 5 elements apply to music.
Absolutely. So for the next 5 episodes, we're going to come at you with this music stuff, and we're going to just sing together and listen vibrationally, and hopefully the sound of our voices will also be a little bit healing. It's actually funny.
That's right.
I'm just jesting. Yes.
Jesting. Yes. And
As you digest, I'm jesting.
Yes. And I'd like to go much deeper into the 5 elements and the music associated with them in these next 5 episodes. So it's really cool that we're going to bring this whole thing in.
So we have to start with, wood.
Wood.
So let's do wood first. And that's actually really big in music. And everyone's going to be like, we'll try to sample as many songs as we can do on this podcast without getting in trouble. But we'll do our best. So next is wood. So be patient and set a goal to listen to the podcast, and
there you go.
we'll be ready. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on that note, let's end this and, just start with your love of music going even deeper and deeper and deeper.
All right.
All right. Bye. You've been listening to the Inspired Action Podcast, and you've reached the end. Woohoo! Why not celebrate a little bit and click that subscribe button right there? We love having you with us on this journey, and we want it to continue.
You can also rate and review this podcast. And if you have already, thank you so much. We read all reviews, and your reviews help other people find this podcast as well. You can also be a part of this podcast yourself by submitting a voice recording message and emailing it to us at leta@inspiredactionpodcast.com or jay@inspiredactionpodcast.com.
And if you want, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Instagram.
Join us next week for another Inspired Action conversation. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, and remember to hug the dog.